Have you ever stopped to wonder why some people seem to absorb knowledge effortlessly, while others struggle even to master a single skill? Is there a secret behind true genius? And more importantly, can you become one of those people? Da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, Marie Curie. What did these names have in common? They didn't limit themselves to one area. They mastered many, creating breakthroughs that reshaped the world. They were polymaths, but what about today? Is there still room for that kind of versatile mind? We live in a society that pigeonholes us from childhood. We're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? As if we must choose one single path, a fixed destiny. But what if the answer isn't that simple? We're in the information age, where any knowledge is just a click away. It's never been easier to become a polymath, yet, at the same time, it's never been harder to maintain the focus and discipline needed to truly master any skill. The truth is, learning isn't an innate gift, it's a system. If you know how to leverage it, you can become an expert in virtually any field. In today's video, we're going to explore what it truly takes to become a modern polymath. We'll cover mindset, learning strategies, how to integrate different areas of knowledge, and how technology can be a huge ally in this process. If you've ever felt the frustration of wanting to learn something new, only to quit halfway through, this video might change your perspective forever. And if you find this content valuable, please hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to see it. The polymath mindset. Mastering anything in life doesn't start with the perfect technique or method. It starts with the right mindset. The way you view learning determines whether you'll become a master or abandon the path. If you believe intelligence and talent are fixed, that some people are simply born with skills, while others are not, you've already started at a disadvantage. Polymaths aren't geniuses by nature. They are individuals who adopted a growth mindset and understood that skills aren't granted, they are built. This leads us to one of the most important principles of the polymath mindset: insatiable curiosity. The great minds of history didn't wait to be told what to learn. They explored, questioned, and followed their intuition to unlock the mysteries of the world. Leonardo da Vinci, for example, was obsessed with understanding how things worked. His notebooks were filled with notes on anatomy, engineering, art, and astronomy. For him, there were no barriers between disciplines, only possibilities. But curiosity alone isn't enough. To truly learn something, you need to develop an essential concept: intellectual humility. This means recognizing that you don't know everything, that there's always more to learn, and that feeling ignorant isn't a failure, it's an invitation to grow. This brings us to a well-known psychological phenomenon, the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less a person knows, the more they tend to overestimate their own knowledge. True masters, however, grasp the vastness of knowledge, and therefore, they never stop learning. Another essential point is understanding that failure isn't the opposite of success, but a fundamental part of the journey. If you want to master something, you have to accept that making mistakes is part of the process. Thomas Edison, for example, tested countless materials before successfully perfecting the incandescent light bulb. He wasn't the first to invent it, but his work made it commercially viable. When questioned about his numerous failures along the way, he reportedly said something like, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the polymath mindset. Every error is a step forward, not a setback. Beyond the mind, there's an even more basic factor that can define your success or failure in learning: your body and your routine. It seems obvious, but many people ignore it. If you sleep poorly, eat badly, and live constantly distracted, how can you expect your brain to function at peak performance? Learning demands mental energy and concentration, which come from simple habits like good nutrition, quality sleep, and physical exercise. The Roman philosopher Juvenal said, "Mens sana in corpore sano," a healthy mind can only exist in a healthy body. It's pointless to seek knowledge if your physiological foundation is weak. Furthermore, there's a limiting belief that prevents many from becoming polymaths: "I don't have time." The difference between a polymath and someone stuck in the ordinary is the priority they give to learning. The secret isn't about finding free time. It's about integrating learning into your routine. Even with a busy day, you can learn by listening to podcasts on your commute, reading for 10 minutes before bed, or swapping social media scrolling for something productive. The time exists. You just need to use it smartly. The only difference between a polymath and everyone else is discipline and dedication. The system for rapid learning. Now that you understand the mindset needed to dominate any area, we need to talk about the system that separates fast, effective learners from those who spend years trying and failing. The key lies in strategy and consistency. It's not about talent or a gift. It's about how you structure your learning and, crucially, how you apply that knowledge. First, abandon the idea that learning is just absorbing information. Knowing is not the same as understanding, and understanding is not the same as applying. Most people make the mistake of staying on the surface, consuming content without truly assimilating or using it. You can watch 100 videos about guitar, but without practice, you'll never improve. This leads us to the first essential principle of an effective learning system: active learning. Instead of consuming information, transform it into action. If you're learning a new language, don't just watch classes. It's essential to practice. Write, speak, make mistakes, and correct them. The same goes for coding. You need to code and test. The key is practical immersion. That's the difference between someone who reads about swimming and someone who actually jumps in the pool. Another common mistake is relying only on memory. Our brain forgets most of what we learn within a few days. The forgetting curve, studied by psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus, reveals that without review, we lose about 70% of information in 24 hours. How do you avoid this? By using one of the most effective techniques, spaced repetition. Instead of reviewing everything at once, distribute your reviews over time. This strengthens retention and turns knowledge into something long-lasting. Another extremely powerful method is active recall. Instead of rereading the same material repeatedly, try to recall the information without looking at it. Ask yourself questions, write summaries from memory, or explain the content to someone else. The act of retrieving information from your brain strengthens memory and enhances comprehension. But even with these techniques, one factor can undermine any learning: a lack of consistency. Here, a simple but transformative principle comes into play: the 1% daily improvement rule. Instead of trying to learn everything at once and overwhelming yourself, focus on small, daily improvements. In the long run, they generate extraordinary progress. Think about it. If you improve 1% a day, in a year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. And how do you ensure this consistency? The answer lies in systems, not goals. Many people fail because they set vague goals, like I want to learn piano, but they don't create a real method for it. A system would be, I will practice for 30 minutes every morning before work. Systems work because they eliminate reliance on motivation. You just do it, making it part of your routine. A crucial element is time management. The excuse of lack of time usually reflects misaligned priorities. If you want to learn something, you must cut out distractions and plan your day. Time blocking is an effective technique. Define fixed times for studying and treat them as non-negotiable appointments. Methods like the Pomodoro technique, 25-minute cycles of focus followed by short breaks, maximize productivity and retention. But even with the best system, there's a villain threatening everything: procrastination. And why do we delay? Because the beginning seems hard. The solution is simple. Start small. If an hour seems too much, study for 5 minutes. If a chapter is intimidating, read a single page. Once you start, your brain gets into the groove, and everything flows. With a system based on active learning, spaced repetition, and consistency, mastering any skill stops being a matter of luck and becomes simply a matter of time. The art of connection. But a deeper question emerges: how do you transform knowledge into something truly impactful? The answer lies in the ability to connect disparate fields of knowledge. The true polymath doesn't just accumulate information, they combine it to innovate. Great minds throughout history followed this principle. Da Vinci merged art, anatomy, engineering, and philosophy. Benjamin Franklin was a scientist, writer, and diplomat. Marie Curie revolutionized science by fusing chemistry and physics. Their differentiator wasn't just learning, but seeing invisible connections between different areas. However, society conditions us to linear thinking. From an early age, we're pressured to choose a single specialization and stick to it rigidly. This fragments our worldview. Innovation emerges when we integrate knowledge interdisciplinary. How do you develop this skill? The first step is to expand your horizons. The common mistake is to focus on a single field and ignore all others. Work in tech. Study philosophy. Are you an artist? Explore neuroscience. Everything is interconnected. You just need to see the patterns. This brings us to a key concept: associative thinking. This is the capacity to connect seemingly disconnected ideas to create something new. Steve Jobs said that creativity is just connecting things. He revolutionized the design of Apple computers because he had studied calligraphy in college. That knowledge, which seemed irrelevant, became the basis of modern digital typography. However, randomly absorbing information isn't enough to generate connections. You need a method to process and organize what you learn. One of the most powerful approaches is Zettelkasten's Slipbox, a note-taking system that interlinks ideas and reveals hidden patterns. Instead of accumulating loose data, you create a structured network of knowledge. Another essential element for boosting insights is the use of metaphors and analogies. Humanity's greatest thinkers have resorted to metaphors to make complex ideas more understandable, as they reveal unexpected connections. Einstein, for example, used the image of a falling elevator to illustrate the theory of relativity. Great writers build entire universes based on analogies with the real world. If you want to be a polymath, get used to seeing parallels between different fields of knowledge. Additionally, one of the most effective ways to develop this skill is to learn multiple disciplines simultaneously. Instead of studying a single topic in isolation, mix different fields. For example, if you're learning programming, combine it with design. If you study history, add psychology. This forces the brain to establish unusual links and generates innovative ideas. However, the true accelerator of this process is consciously applying multiple areas of knowledge to problem solving. Many polymaths stood out by transferring solutions from one domain to another. Tesla, for example, combined electrical engineering with principles of magnetism and mechanics to create inventions that seemed like science fiction. Richard Feynman, one of the greatest physicists of the 20th century, used music and art to teach quantum physics. This leads us to a crucial point. To become a true polymath, you don't just consume knowledge. You must produce something new with it, whether it's writing, coding, drawing, composing, or building. Learning only becomes powerful when it's transformed into creation. In the end, the art of connecting ideas differentiates those who merely accumulate information from those who truly impact the world. Leveraging technology. There has never been a better time to be a polymath in the past. Learning a new skill required finding a master, traveling to a library, or spending years trying through trial and error. Today, everything is just a few clicks away. But here's the paradox. If we have unlimited access to knowledge, why do so many people still feel like they aren't learning anything properly? The answer lies in the use of technology. The internet isn't just an entertainment tool, it's the greatest living encyclopedia in history. However, the difference between those who master multiple skills and those who merely consume content is how they use this tool. Knowledge has never been more accessible, but it only transforms the lives of those who act upon it. And here lies one of technology's greatest challenges. It can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. How many times have you picked up your phone to look up something important and, without realizing it, ended up scrolling your feed for minutes or even hours? The problem isn't a lack of time. It's the excess of distractions designed to capture your attention. The true mastery of technology happens when you control it, instead of being controlled. The key is to create a strategic digital environment. This includes using filters to block social media during study times, disabling unnecessary notifications, and setting fixed learning hours. A true polymath not only uses technology, but knows how to filter what truly matters. Another effective strategy is to use technology to record and share your learnings. Start a blog, a YouTube channel like this one, or post summaries on social media. This forces your brain to process knowledge more deeply. The Feynman technique teaches that if you can't explain something simply and clearly, you haven't fully understood it yet. And the best way to prove this is by teaching what you've learned. But ultimately, technology is just a tool. It can boost your ability to learn, but it doesn't do the work for you. What truly differentiates a polymath from an average person isn't access to information, but the discipline to apply it. Now that you have the right mindset, an efficient system, the ability to connect ideas, and technology on your side, only one step remains: action. Because, in the end, what defines a polymath isn't how much they know, but what they do with that knowledge. Conclusion. The great illusion about learning is believing it belongs to a lucky few geniuses. The truth is, anyone can master any skill, provided they are willing to adopt the right mindset, follow a method, and connect information intelligently, with technology as an ally. The world has always favored those who think broadly, move between different areas, and identify patterns where others see only loose fragments. But we live in an era where specialization suffocates creativity, and many limit themselves to a single field, afraid of looking curious instead of expert. Yet history proves that the greatest innovators were precisely those who refused to be defined by a single label. Being a polymath isn't about knowing everything, but about never stopping the process of learning. It's about not accepting ready-made answers and having the courage to explore the unknown. True learning happens outside the comfort zone. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of 99% of people, because most don't even try. Most give up at the first hurdle, the first mistake, the first difficulty. But if one thing is clear throughout this video, it's that polymaths don't quit. They adapt, persist, and evolve. Now, the choice is yours. You can close this video and go back to your normal routine, or you can apply this knowledge and start mastering something new. And remember, it's not about learning everything at once, but about improving 1% every single day. Small improvements yield extraordinary results. Thanks so much for watching Lovecraftian Psychology. Now, I want to know, what skill have you always wanted to learn but never took the first step? Drop it in the comments. Maybe your answer will inspire someone else to start too. And before you go, you know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to help me keep bringing you quality content. Who knows, together, we might form a new generation of polymath. And if you want to keep exploring valuable content, there's a video on the screen now that can transform your view on learning. But I only recommend it for those who are truly ready to evolve. I'll see you there.